You movie buffs probably remember the movie Fruitvale Station. It was a movie about how a couple of fellas, one fella in particular, was shot and killed on the BART system near the subway stop, near the train stop, near the BART stop called Fruitvale Station in Oakland. It was generally acknowledged as a masterpiece for exposing this ridiculous level of white on black racism and how white cops are always picking on black people, killing black people for no reason whatsoever. Well, yeah, it was a thing. It was a big thing. The reality is, of course, that white people at the Fruitvale Station are targets of black violence in the station, outside of the station, just like this dude. This dude is I think he's kind of a stringer for the CBS affiliate in the Bay Area. So he was getting off the train in Fruitvale, walking to his home in Oakland at night, thinking, wow, I'm just tiptoeing through the tulips here. This is a very safe community. I know that because all my friends tell me that there is no difference between white crime and black crime, and anybody who notices, well, they've got a big problem. Yeah, that's the kind of stuff that's on his Facebook page and Twitter feed after telling people that he was the victim of a robbery that turned out to be a huge kind of robbery spree. But I mean, these stories have so many layers. This story has two layers. One, we have the story of the reporter/producer who was caught up in a black robbery spree, and he just acts like, well, I don't see any pattern here, Colin. Why do you think there's a pattern? But then at the end, let's check out what he says at the end about how to put a little bow on all this stuff.
It was January 2nd when San Leandro officers investigated a robbery at gunpoint at an ATM, and then another and another, not just in San Leandro, but all over the East Bay, Oakland, Hayward, even Pleasanton.
By the end of the month, we had 19 robberies of similar nature. And then by the first week of February, we were up to 22.
This is a still photo from one of the ATM cameras. You can see a man with a gun in his hand. On the left side of the image, another man goes in to steal the still running car of the eventual victim.
Every case, the suspects were masked and had hoodies on. So their identities were unknown.
As the ATM robberies kept ticking up, San Leandro detectives found a slip of paper leading them to a car and put together an operation Wednesday night. But their suspects, 4 in total, weren't long-time sophisticated criminal masterminds, but teenagers, 16 and 17.
This is the type of crime that we see with somebody who's, has some history, who's got a criminal record and has experience committing these type of crimes.
The teenagers remain in custody and have confessed to some of the ATM robberies.
These are juveniles. I don't think they really understand what's at stake here.
Okay, so this guy's name is Kranz. So there was a story in the San Francisco paper about this robbery spree and how Kranz went into some detail about what happened to him and how they stole his online skates. Don't do that, people. Anyway, here's how they wrapped up the story in the San Francisco Chronicle. Kranz, the reporter, said what he wants most of the situation, now that he's gotten his belongings back, is to meet the teenagers who committed the crimes. If anything, I want to meet the kids to find out their situation. Like, how did you get into this situation where you felt like you needed to do this? ? One of the lieutenants told me that they hope these kids can get the resources that they need to kind of hopefully straighten their lives out. Wow. Marla Newbern used to talk about a book called Pathological Altruism. How people that are killing themselves by trying to be nice in a situation that doesn't call for people being nice. If you are robbed with people carrying a gun, the rest of the community is counting on you to step up and put them away so they don't go around putting that gun in anybody else's face. And all you can do is sit around here and forget all the other victims. Look, listen, if you want to go out and commit suicide in Fruitvale, go ahead. Nobody's going to care. But what about the other victims? What about the victims in the future? You're so worried about getting the kids some resources. You really think that's what it was? Do Do you suppose the fact that there are so many fools like this guy Brian Krantz out there ready to be in denial, deceit, and delusion about this level of crime and violence, do you think that contributed to the problem at all? If you read the comments to this article at on their website, you will see that anytime anybody says, hey, I think I noticed all the crime in this area is being committed by a bunch of black people, oh no, that person is shunned, scorned. And everybody assures everybody else that no, this is not a black thing. There are lots of bad white people and Samoan people and Hispanic people out there as well. Let's take a look. We already did a story of this one other crime down in Memphis. It just happened just in Nashville a day or two ago. A bunch of the fellas killed a white guy from Pennsylvania. He went down to Nashville to do his country rock dream. But I want you to see the same kind of thing playing out this is the second day story. The second day story answering the question of, wow, we've got 4 or 5 black people going around killing people in Nashville. Does anybody give a damn about that family? No. The family of the dead kid? No. If they did, they wouldn't be saying stuff like they said in this video.
We start tonight with new information on that deadly shooting. News Channel 5's Brendan Marshall spoke with community activists and asked what can be done to stop violent crimes in our city.
5 juveniles charged with murder of an innocent man. The families on both sides of this deadly shooting all emotional. And no one in our community seems to have the best answer on how to help our city's youth.
They're lost. They're crying out for help, and the system is failing us.
Tiffany and her husband, Phil Hawkins, are tired of seeing children in Nashville throw their lives away. On Thursday, 5 juveniles were arrested and charged with homicide in the killing of a former Belmont University student and singer, Kyle Yorlitz. Officials tell us the 2 loaded pistols recovered in the shooting were reported stolen. They were taken from 2 unlocked vehicles. One vehicle was stolen Wednesday, the other stolen last year. It's unclear how the juveniles got both guns in their possession.
It's heart-wrenching. It's very heart-wrenching right now because we know what we need to do. It's not being done. Unless it come to your house, you're not being involved.
Hawkins says kids need more love and more restorative justice resources to help them.
These kids go to juvenile overnight, 24 hours. It's not enough. It's not enough. They repeat offenders. We need to do something about that. You got to make tougher laws. It's just what it is.
The mother of 16-year-old Aquarius Wright told News Channel 5 her son was at the Juvenile Justice Center Wednesday night before the shooting for running away. She was asked to pick him up or she would be charged with child neglect.
Like the mother said, she reached out. They sent him home, but yet still he go commit this crime and they still blame her. You know, there's only so much we can do.
Sometimes prayer and condolence to the families, both families, because it's a bad situation.
So now it's all about the kids. Did you notice the moral equivalence between the kids, the victims, and the perp? Oh, I feel sorry for both families. Come on, man. You are making the kids equal to the perp. The kids are victims. What are they victims of? Well, they're victims of some kind of white society that didn't give them the resources.
Please, sir, I want some more.
And so they had to go out and grab a gun and go out and kill white kids. Wow, that makes the kids, the people who killed the white kid, that makes them the victims. And since the victim is white, that makes him the perpetrator because he somehow is part of a system that has been depriving these kids of the resources to get what they want. So they won't go around killing people. And the fellows will tell you that, oh yeah, well, he might not have directly believed in that system, who knows, but he benefited from it, so it doesn't really make any difference. He is to blame. If you benefit from a system of white racism that's 4 million, billion, trillion years old, you're part of that system and you are responsible for that system. Yeah, that's how this crazy thinking goes. That's how this crazy convoluted thinking goes. That's how people are winding up dead in Nashville, guns stuck in their face in the streets of San Francisco, and everybody just looks at each other like, wow, we've got to get those kids some more midnight basketball, or else those black kids are going to get very angry.